Hello and welcome to this week's Yoga Flow with me. So let's get started. Lay back on your mat, bend your knees, feet planted, and just begin to feel that diamond shape of the pelvis between your two hip bones and the pubic bone. Try to pull that together. Feel your deep abdominal muscles and lift up into bridge. You can tap on your glutes to wake them up. You want strong glutes to keep a neutral pelvis here. So here we're just resetting ourselves before we practice. Lift your right leg, put your heel over your left knee, and open up the hip. Try to keep that pelvis level, remembering that diamond shape. Strong glutes, keeping the hips lifted. We stretch the wrist out. Just pull the hand back, lightly pull on the fingertips. You can massage up and down your forearm. This will help prepare for some of the weight bearing and handstanding later on. So you can switch your legs. Take the left leg, bend that, and put the heel on top of the right knee. Stretch the other wrist. Now remember this feeling of strong glutes and try to remain with that throughout the class. Slowly lower down. Just reach overhead and stretch, trying to keep the pelvis level here, not popping the low back off and arching through the ribs. And here we'll begin our first set of abdominals. So just reach one leg up and with the opposite hand, reach for that. The heel that is on the mat, keep that planted firmly, pulling back, tailbone tucked, abs strong, glutes working, keeping that diamond shape pulling together the neutral pelvis. We'll be waking up the core here. Few more of these. The core working, lifted, the belly button tucked up and back down onto the mat. And just a stretch here. So revisiting that heel over the knee and twist. Take a few breaths and switch to the other side. Opposite heel over the knee and drop it down. Look over the opposite shoulder. One more exercise here to wake up the core. Lift the legs straight up. Exhale, curl up. Inhale, roll back down. Exhale as you lift. Pull the tailbone just an inch off of the mat. Maybe not an inch, but energetically feel that you're pulling it up. And we inhale and lower. We exhale, lift, tailbone lift, and we twist here. Twist the hips in the opposite direction as the upper body. Inhale and lower. Exhale, lift and hold and twist. Inhale, back through center, lower. One more time. Inhale and lower. Now release, come forward, find yourself in a quadruped position, hands and knees on the mat. If you've got a block, you can take it and put it on your low back. We're going to do a fire hydrant type move, and we're just using the block for feedback. So you can feel the stability of the pelvis, keeping the pelvis neutral, hip points equal distance from the ground. Just lift the leg out to the side and down. Strong core, keeping it lifted. And switch to the other leg. Nice and slow. If you don't have a block, no problem. you can take the block, move it away, come into a dolphin pose. Now when you're in dolphin, you can take some of the strain off of the shoulders by clasping your hands together. That's something I like to do, but you can keep your hands apart. Revisiting that sensation where you keep the glutes strong and the pelvis neutral. You lift up, strong core. See where I'm pointing to? Just a lift up. Get a nice stretch down the back of the hamstrings. You can just pulse, walk the feet out, and just come into a child's pose for a moment. Really here, remind yourself of the breath that you've cultivated. Just some deep inhales in through the nose, out through the nose. You want to keep a strong breath, neutral pelvis, strong glutes. Really make this practice work for you. So come to a forward fold. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bend back, step the left leg back. Keep those back toes rolled. And here, we're going to pulse that knee forward and feel a stretch in the left hip flexor. So when you keep the glutes strong, the abs tight, the belly button lifted up and back, try to feel the deep abdominal muscles. You'll feel that stretch in the hip flexor. Now both legs back. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, come up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now step the left leg forward. Roll the back toes. Strong glutes, strong core, and pulse. Feel a stretch in the right side hip flexor. Now see, this is where I'm pointing to. That's really where you should feel the stretch. Now exhale, plant the hands. Step it together, forward fold. Inhale and lift. Exhale, fold. Step it back on the right leg. So it's left leg low lunge, and we're going to pulse once again on each side. So it's like your knee is just coming an inch forward. You're not just totally giving in and letting the knee pass the front toes. Keeping strong glutes, neutral pelvis, the tailbone tucked as you're doing that. Vinyasa. Step the right foot forward. I've got the top of the foot, the back foot down flat on the mat. Just experimenting with different sensations and strength, keeping the glutes strong and stretching that left side hip flexor. Now step into forward fold, inhale and lift. Moving into sun salutation A. Exhale, plant the hands, step back into plank. And here just tapping the toes to the side, alternating legs. Keeping that core strong and lifted. Exhale, lower. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And just walking ever so slowly, pushing down into the mat with the hands. Strong core, neutral pelvis. Inhale and lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back into plank. Again, tapping out to the side, keeping a lightness in the toes. Lifted in the core. Trying to keep your shoulder blades flat on your back. Really keeping the core strong will help with this. Exhale, lower. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now you can add some hops here, come into handstanding. Today I'm just putting an emphasis on walking and having a strong core and bending in the hips, hip flexion here. So we exhale, forward fold, lower down, and tap. Tapping out to the side, alternating feet. And we exhale and lower. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, coming into downward facing dog. And just walking it forward one more time before we begin our sun B. So we inhale, reach up. And exhale, come into chair pose. Glutes strong. And we exhale, prayer twist to one side. Inhale, lift. Exhale, prayer twist to the other side. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Step it back and lowering down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, the right leg lifts. And you can step as far forward as you can. Inhale, lift, remembering those strong glutes. Open hips. Come forward into one-legged mountain, back into warrior, and then plant the hands. Step back into plank, lower down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now on the left side, inhale, the left leg lifts. Hop or step as far forward as you can. Inhale, lift, warrior one. Strong glutes, strong core, keeping a neutral pelvis. Exhale, one-legged warrior, and now feeling the hip flexors on the other side. Plant the hands, lower down, exhaling, and then inhale, up dog, exhale, downward facing dog. Walking forward, keeping the core tight, neutral pelvis. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, prayer twist to the right. Inhale, lift. Exhale, prayer twist to the left. Inhale, lift. Being careful not to let one knee pass the other, keeping them right side by side. Exhale, we lower down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, the right leg lifts. Here, hop and switch, or you can do the same as before, stepping as far forward as you can, coming into a right leg warrior one, neutral pelvis, feel the hip flexor. Exhale, one-legged mountain, and step it back, lowering down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now on the left side. Inhale, the left leg lifts. Exhale, hop and switch or step it through. Left leg warrior one, inhale. Exhale, one-legged mountain. And step back. Exhale, lower down. Inhale. Up dog, exhale, down dog. Walking it through. Coming to a forward fold. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, I'm just going to put in a vinyasa and we'll begin our flow. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. So let's meet in downward facing dog. And step the right leg forward. We're coming into a pyramid pose. So 2 straight legs, trying to keep the hip points square with the front of the mat. And just lean forward and come into a standing split. Put some weight in the front hands. You can add some hops, a handstand, whatever you feel is coming to you today. We're really focusing on the hip flexion here. And we open up to a half moon. Back foot is flexed. Strong standing leg. And come down to a warrior two. Here, let's breathe and move. I've decided to fix my hair here. A little self-conscious being filmed, but that's how it is. But we exhale and reach forward, and inhale and reach back. Just like this. And just move through this a few times. Feel the nice stretch along the sides of the torso, keeping the pelvis tight and lifted and the heels pulling together, a strong base. We move through this, letting the breath move you. Now here we're going to do some side lunge. An optional challenge here when you're in warrior two, a bird of paradise. So you bind behind your back and you walk that leg in, and then you lift the front leg. You can straighten it up. But from the warrior two, we're doing side lunges. Here just warming up, just feeling it out. and breathing with this movement. And when you have your legs bent on one side, you can lift that bent leg to the other side and lift into a one-legged mountain. And then coming back and doing it on the other side. Slow and controlled, letting the breath move you. You can add in a hop when you come into that one-legged mountain. Have some fun with it. Be alternating sides. You bend to one side to the other and then hop up to the opposite and come back to where you were. You also always have the option of these primal hops. These are probably my favorite to do in side lunges. Now I'm just turning around so you can see what's going on, but I'm taking one leg and stepping it through to the back. So once again, lift the right leg and then step it through. And it's almost like you're sitting on that right leg. You've got your left leg bent over, and then you slide it over and come into a modified side plank. So pay attention here. I come back together, the knees together, and roll. So the opposite side you were facing from the side plank, you end up in this fire hydrant move. And you roll back into side plank. So in the plank here, 3 pulses of that top leg, and then roll into quadruped, and then 3 pulses of the fire hydrant move. And here, just roll back and forth. Once you get the hang of this, it's actually pretty fun, and you can pause the video and do as many as you'd like. Slow and controlled movements, letting the breath move you. Keeping a neutral and strong pelvis, your core strong and lifted. When you're ready, come face the back of the mat, feet planted, knees bent, come back, and we're going to revisit those abdominal workouts from the beginning. Straighten one leg and reach with the opposite hand up. Remembering that diamond feeling in the pelvis, the belly button lifted up and back towards the spine. Using all that power to build heat and stay light and lifted. Now come forward into a plank. And what we're going to do is a twist and sit back, alternating sides. You can always hop a little bit as you come forward, really exercising core strength. And an additional challenge here, you can do a side crow. And straighten a leg if that's what you're feeling today. And come back to tucking on each side, alternating sides. Can try a crow on the opposite side. Hold for as long as you want. Fall as many times as you want. And lower down. And here, do a locust or bow. So reaching back, glutes strong, your shoulder blades pulling together, feet lifted, hands lifted. And just breathe here. Not as much movement. Feels like a break, but still hard work. Lift back up into plank and revisit those toe taps to the side or hopping here, some plyometric work. Strong core. And your hands are on the mat pulling back. Now step forward into chair, and here we revisit those prayer twists. To each side. Inhale when we reach up, exhale when we twist. We inhale, we can jump and alternate sides. Inhale, jump, exhale, twist. having fun. This is a coiling and springing action, so good, especially for sports, and just having fun. Now exhale, fold. And adding in a vinyasa before we're doing this all again on the other side. We meet in downward facing dog. This time, step the left leg forward. Oh, I'm switching sides. But from downward facing dog, you'll step the left leg forward and come into pyramid. Now hands planted in front of you. Lean forward. Single leg split, a standing split. We exhale, come forward, and inhale, come back to pyramid. Keeping the pelvis neutral, exercising proper hip flexion. Exhaling, coming forward, hopping up onto the hands. I'm not attempting a handstand today, but this is a great place to add that in. Inhale, come up into half moon, back foot flexed, power in the standing foot, open chest, breathing, dropping the back leg, warrior two, and breathing through this movement, forward and backward. The heels pulling together, the core strong and lifted, a really strong base here, stretching and moving. Side lunging here. Go to one side, then the other, and lift one-legged mountain back to where you were. Other side, and one-legged mountain on the other side. Now there's lots of options here. If you just want a side lunge, if you want to do the one-legged mountain without the hop, with the hop, you want to put weight in your hands and lean forward. So many fun different options that you could do here. And after a few of these, we're going to remember that movement that we did, where we're going to take the left leg this time and slide it in back and sit down onto that left side and roll over, modified side plank. So it's the right leg that's down, the left leg lifts, 3 pulses with the left. And sit your bottom back down and roll over, knees together, quadruped, and the right leg out to the side, 3 pulses. Three pulses in the modified side plank, and 3 pulses in this fire hydrant move. Level pelvis, strong core, pushing the hands into the floor, energetically pulling them back towards your knees. Even here, keeping that shoulder blade flat on the back. And 3 pulses here. You can pause the video and get a hang of that if you want. Should feel really stealthy and fun. Rolling around on your mat, kind of playtime, but when you're ready, roll back and revisiting these abdominals. Where the knees are bent, the feet are planted on the mat, and you're reaching for that leg that's straightening up with the opposite hand. The power coming up through your core. Hard work here. When you're ready, come forward. We're moving into plank and tucking opposite sides. Jump back, forward. Use that core to stop yourself. Walk the hands back when you're tucked. Lean forward. Side crow, challenge. Try straightening a leg. Coming back, either tucking or side crow once again on the other side. When you're tucked, bring the hands back and lean forward. It gets more challenging over time. Really tiring ourselves out here. Now lower down, locust or bow. Breathing here, the shoulder blades pulling together, the glutes strong, still lifting in the core. Legs together. We exhale, lift ourselves up into plank again, revisiting those taps out to the side and or hopping the feet apart off of the mat, pulling the hands energetically back towards the feet, trying to keep the shoulder blades flat on the back, strong core. And step forward, knees bent, inhale and lift, chair pose, exhale, prayer twist, inhale, reach, exhale, prayer twist, inhale, reach. And you can stick with this, but this is the very end, so you can give it your all and try a few hops. Inhale when we hop, exhale when we twist. Coiling and springing action. Do as many of those as you want, but when you're ready, we're going to meet in downward facing dog, however you want to get there with a last vinyasa. But we inhale, the right leg lifts and pull it through to pigeon. Now I'm just holding this here for 10 breaths, but I really recommend pausing the video and doing this for about 2 to 3 minutes. Release the breath and try not to sit down, like let your hip fall towards the side with the bent leg, keeping it lifted and really stretching that whole side underneath your leg. After doing that for about 2 or 3 minutes, come back through downward facing dog, inhale, and bring the left leg through. Same thing here, try not to fall to the left side where the leg is bent. Feel that nice stretch in the right hip flexor all the way under the left leg, and hold this for about 2 to 3 minutes, releasing the breath. Now one more of these relaxing postures on each side. Lay totally face down and either with the arms straight out, or you can cactus arm, roll over, get a nice stretch in your chest, heart opener. You can bend the top leg back, you can cactus the arm, whatever is most comfortable for you. You can bring your other arm in back of you, or you can keep it in front of you to support yourself up, depending how far back you can stretch. This is totally you, up to you, no challenge here. And try to hold that for a minute or two. Pause the video and then try again on the other side. And just hold here. Relax, let the adrenaline come out after all of that hard work we've just done. And when you're totally ready, make your way onto your back, preparing for Shavasana. You can take a deep breath in and let it out. A full body stretch. Give yourself a hug. Happy baby here. And when you're ready, just fully lay back. Extend the legs. Arms at your sides, palms up. Totally release the breath. And here, please pause the video. Take about at least 5 minutes to yourself. Just absorb the benefits of the practice. When you're ready, bring some sensation back into the fingers and toes. Bend the knees, give yourself a hug. Roll onto one side, stay for as long as you need. When you're ready, push yourself up. Hands together at heart center. Thank you very much.